Trump is quite clearly ahead at this time, but there are messages from both sides doing the rounds on how on both sides are going to try and prevent the results from being announced early on, and that the fight is not quite over as yet. Well, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. G. Balachandran. Kamala Harris's uncle joins us now. Thank you, sir, very much for being with us. How are you seeing things right now? Do you think that the Democrats, that Kamala Harris will be having a very tough time in America as these results come in?
Look, the election results will not be called in for some time. There is no point in CNN or somebody calling the winner. It is the Electoral College that will decide that. The second thing is this. There are 50 states, each one has its own way of counting, so there's no unified way like in India.
Mr. Balachandran, could you tell us, Mr. Balachandran, can you tell us a little bit about your association with Kamala? When did you meet her last? How has the family always remained tight despite, she being over there, you being over here?
Let me tell you one thing. Of course, Kamala and her mother, I was very close to Shamla. Kamala is close to me. So as a family, we are very close, and she has said it, and we have said it. So in that sense, what I think of Kamala, or whether I talk to her, whether she talks to me, is nearly not of relevance right now. The relevance right now is how is the US going to be governed for the next 4 years. Let's concentrate on that and not on the trivialities, whether she likes idli or dosa or sambar, okay?
I take your point, but there's a lot of interest in her interest in India as well. Be that as it may, let me ask you, Mr. Balachandran, in terms of what Kamala Harris potentially brings to the table as a leader, what do you believe are her biggest assets?
Look, her biggest asset is that she is young. 2, she has shown her mettle as both in the California as Attorney General and as a Senator. And she has shown herself how aware she is of the America's problem in the Senate Judiciary Committee. And 4th, she has been able to mobilize the young and energize the minority communities in a far more substantive manner than Biden alone could have done. So her impact on the minorities and the youth will be very high for a long time to come, whether she wins or loses, okay?
She's had a major role, at least the Democrats would hope that she's had a major role in reaching out to the black community in the United States, the Latino community, and obviously the Indian community as well. Do you believe that she has been able to do that?
Oh yeah, look, with the black community and the other minority Asian Americans, there's no question about it. But we have to be clear that the Latin community, if you are talking about Florida, they are far more interested and determined by what happens in Cuba and other things than what happens in South Asia, okay? So her influence on the Latin American community will be less than her influence on the black community and on the Indian community and other minorities.
Right.
Okay?
And sir, in terms of one of the key aspects in the run-up to the election, Black Lives Matter and the campaign over there, we've seen some of Trump's most vindictive statements directed against the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you believe that this is an area where Kamala Harris may have an edge in terms of her appeal to minorities?
Look, the next 4 years, what we have to see is whether the positive aspects of Kamala's candidature are more than outweighed by the negative aspects of Trump presidency if he gets elected. If he gets elected, his negative effects will be far more dangerous than the good that Kamala can do.
All right. Sir, I must ask you, and I know that you want this focus to remain on the US election and what's happening today, but do tell us a little bit about Kamala Harris, the person that she is. How strong has she kept up with her Indian roots?
Look, she has kept, but this question has been asked me. I hope you don't mind me saying that. What is my Indian root? Is it my language, Tamil? I speak Tamil, but I can't write very much. Is it my religion? I don't know. What is Indian root? I'm not a tree that I got a root. I was lived abroad in 18 years, so did I lose my Indian root? All that I can say is this. Whenever she was in India, she was very happy with the food, with the environment, and she was in Chennai. She was quite happy with the friends who came, dropped in, our Indian friends, my parents' Indian friend. She was all happy. So I think that's the Indian root. She never felt out of place in India while she was in India.
And how does she identify herself in the United States? Being of mixed origin, how does she see herself? What is her identity?
Look, there's no question about her. She was brought up in an Afro-American community all her life. She went to a school with majority of Afro-American. My sister was living in Oakland at the time, which was Afro-American. My sister was involved in civil rights movement. So all her life, she has had far more Afro-American friends, family friends, than anything else. Therefore, there's no question, if given the choice and given say yes or no, she will say she's more Afro-American than anything else.
Mr. Balachandran, one final question to you. Could you tell us a little bit about her entry into politics, the American mainstream politics? Why did she believe that this was a path for her?
Look, that is the influence of my sister Shamla. Shamla had told her children, if you want to study, become a lawyer, doctor, whatever you are, that's good. But whatever you study, whatever you learn, see how you can use it for the good of the society. That's why when she became a law, she didn't go into corporate law or private law.
Right.
Okay, so from then onwards, she has dedicated her life. She did as a district attorney of San Francisco, as an attorney general of California, as a senator from California, and now she expects to do as the vice president of the United States.